Welcome to DeLaveaga Disc Golf Course for the final round of the 2024 Faultline Classic. I'm Keenan Dalton of Top World Disc Golf, here with my co-commentator Paavo Stubstad.
What up, Keenan? Happy to be back. Excited for some fun golf at DeLa.
Yeah, let's get right into it. After one round, Blair and Andrew Miranda are leading the way after shooting a fiery hot 1048 rated 10 under par. And our other card mates, Torres and Connor Whiting, are 4 strokes back.
Should be exciting, and we've got a 28-hole layout today here at DeLa. Is that right, Keenan?
That's right. We're playing every hole on the course except for hole 23 today. So a lot of golf to play, and strokes could fly out here because it's DeLaveaga in a very challenging layout.
I always love watching this course, Keenan, but I'm used to only seeing 18 holes from when it was on tour. I'm excited to get to see more of the course today.
Yeah, we're very stoked to showcase our local courses here at Top World, and let's get straight into it. Hole 1. This is the position that you're used to seeing in the Masters Cup, 315 feet, par 3. Just got to get through these double Mando oak trees on the left and right, and up these railroad ties to have a look at the birdie putt.
This hole is always an extremely tricky birdie. Not too hard to par, but you usually see very few birdies in competition here.
Little knuckles before we get started. And up first, Blair.
There we go.
Nice hyzer flip up a little bit too low. Close to the right line though.
Yeah, hit one of those railroad ties and stayed in the middle there, so he should have a long uphill birdie putt.
About 8 feet higher than that, I would say, is the ideal line, but you go a little bit too high and you're flirting with that low ceiling.
Exactly. Andrew Miranda up next, coming off of his win last week at the Silicon Valley Classic.
Dude, that height was perfect. Just nailed one of the trees. That's too bad. I would have liked to see that one finish.
Yeah, those trees are right in the middle line sometimes.
And if you're looking at that whole infographic, don't let the 315 fool you, because this is steep uphill, which makes it real hard to reach, especially with the high floor, low ceiling combo as well.
And up next, Torres yanks it a little bit.
Oh no, misses the Mando. He'll proceed to a drop zone right next to the Mando, I believe, or right in front of it.
And then up next, the local Connor Whiting.
A little bit too high. But you're really not losing strokes to anyone with a par on this hole. It averaged 3.28. Not a whole lot of bogeys or doubles, just most of the field taking par on this because the birdie is so elusive.
Here's Manny throwing from the drop zone, so throwing 3, gets it up there nicely, so he should have a pretty easy bogey 4.
Nice little grind there from Andrew on the little log there short of the basket. He should have like a 15-footer, almost a tap in. Perfect upshot from Connor.
Kind of an awkward stance from Jacob. Can't really give it a putt.
Yep, just chipping a little forehand up there. So it looks like we're going to have 3 tap-in pars and 1 on 4. Well, this is a little more than a tap-in. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Little tester.
Yeah, got a little meat left on the bone. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Dead center. Good putt, Jacob. Yeah, so 3 pars, 1 bogey.
Yeah, good way to start the round. Get a little bit of putting confidence early.
Yep, little tap in from Andrew. And while Manny's tapping in his bogey and Connor's tapping in his par here, I got to give a shout out to the one and only birdie on the day today. That was from Max Crotty. Nice birdie, Max.
And on to hole 2, par 3, 270 feet. Very uphill, very steep. You gotta make it around this corner. Either, for most players, it could be a tomahawk or a sidearm kind of panning turnover shot that flexes back at the end. Or if you have a big, huge arm, there is a backhand kind of hyzer route.
Yeah, I think you need a real huge arm for that because you got to get up and over that tree that's pin high right, and the hole plays extremely uphill. I'd say more uphill than hole 1 even.
Yeah, this has got to be one of the most challenging 270-foot par 3s to get the birdie on. But that looks pretty good. He's right next to the acacia tree, so with a little roll, he should have about a 45-foot death putt.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of the par play with the backhand is just chip it up to there and lay it up and take an easy par. I mean, if you're crazy enough, you could run that putt, but it's such a death putt. Classic DeLaveaga putt.
Yeah, this line from Miranda is a little bit more aggressive.
This is the way to get there. He didn't get quite enough turn on it, or the disc was a little too overstable, one or the other. Oh, but look at this roll. Wouldn't be DeLaveaga without some rolls. Now stop there. Wow. Welcome to DeLaveaga. Only took 2 holes before we saw a classic DeLaveaga roll away. Ooh. Oh, I thought he made it. He made it through the first tiny little gap there. But yeah, that was a little too tight. It's going to be a little trickier to save a par from there.
Yeah, Manny usually has a little bit more power than Connor, so I think he's going to go a little bit higher. Oh, way higher.
Yep, there it is. I mean, yeah, still basically that par play. It's got to take so much power to get there on a spike hyzer backhand.
Tough upshot to save par for Connor, but that looks great.
Pretty good, but that's a scary putt. Looks like about circle's edge or just outside.
Yeah, and that's in that range, whereas an MPO player, you got to be running those, so we'll see what Connor decides to do. First, Manny's going to lay up.
Yeah, and Andrew Miranda laid up just there, too. All we had was the reaction cam angle on that, but he was just laying up anyway.
Just real quick.
Yep. As the rest of these guys are doing as well. Now, Connor has a decision to make. Everyone else is parked for par. He's going to need to make a putt if he wants the same. Oh, sit. Didn't look like it was coming down on an angle where it would roll. Yeah, he's all right. Little comebacker.
So this is for his bogey save?
Yep. And he saves it.
And the rest to tap in their pars.
And this hole's not as unbirdieable as hole 1. We did have 5 birdies on it today, which is 16% of the field.
Yeah, I wonder what the line among those players was to secure that birdie.
I gotta think most of them it was that flex forehand, or maybe a tomahawk.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, headed on to hole 3, 354 feet. Number 1 rule on this hole is do not go right. There's a cliffside over there on the right side. You could throw the backhand straight up the middle, straight at it, or there's also a sidearm line, just throwing it flat to the left side and then let the stability of the disc kind of just crash into this grove of pine trees.
Yeah, I think I've seen some players go with the high turnover shot on the forehand line as well, like up high to the left.
Yeah, looks like that's what Jacob's lining up here, but it comes out a little too hyzered, so it should be right at the pin. Oh, and it gets through nicely.
Beautiful. Great shot from Jacob. Hopefully we'll get to see a little green on that scorecard.
Jacob and Andrew still tied at -10. We'll see if anybody pulls ahead here. This looks a little flatter, a little wider.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Free night at the end.
That's a little too wide, I think.
Backdoor? Oh, yeah.
Oh, what do I know? I don't know what kind of power Manny has. Manny has tons of power on the forehand and backhand.
Very casual.
Yeah, seems like he's able to get him up much higher. Yeah, it does look very casual with his very kind of slow and methodical run-up.
Here's Connor going buzz up the middle. But it hits an early tree.
Yeah, he just a little bit of an early release on that. Looked like a good flight. He just wanted to release it a split second later. Should be an easy enough up and down for a par, though. Yep.
And Manny for birdie.
Oh, squeaked it over the rim, but it's good. The first green on the scorecard goes to Manny Torres. Nice birdie, sir.
And Miranda's birdie look.
Yeah, pretty wide straddle there. Not only the stance, but he couldn't get his normal swing either with how fat that trunk was. He kind of had to swing it down towards his right leg instead of between your legs like you'd normally like to for a straddle. Too bad. Great drive and a easy birdie for Jacob. And he takes one stroke lead over Andrew with that putt. Two pars, two birdies. Moving on to hole 4.
That's right, hole 4. One of the more challenging holes on the course. 390 feet, par 3. We are playing 2 meter today, so that is definitely a possibility when you're throwing underneath or over these grabby oak trees. There's a famous roller line back when Greg Barsby aced this hole in Masters Cup, but lots of players with a good backhand will go maybe a fairway driver or a distance driver over all these oak trees and try and crash in closer to the basket.
Extremely tough birdie. This hole actually averaged half a stroke over par at 3.5.
That looks good.
Oh, great shot. He's going to have a long look. Oh, still rolling. Giving him a shorter look, hopefully.
Yeah, kind of obstructed from over there, but it was a fortunate roll to get closer to the basket.
Any birdie look on a hole that averages half a stroke over par is a good birdie look.
That was looking good till it hit the pine tree and stuck up in the oak tree, 2 metered.
Oh, man. Great looking line from Andrew. Barely missed that tree.
Split the trees and lands about pin high, but then it's rolling.
Oh, man. That's a steep hill with lots of rough on it, too. That's too bad. I want to see him rewarded for that drive. That was a phenomenal drive.
And Connor going Similar line to Andrew on the other side of the tree.
Fading a little bit too much. Nope. Wow, going deep also. I think it's just behind that thick branch there.
That's a good drive as well. He should have a birdie look from there.
Right about there.
That's crazy to have a couple birdie looks on this. And honestly, Andrew would have had one too if he didn't have that roll down the hill. You almost never see any drives get inside the circle, or even circle 2 is rare on this hole.
Great shot.
Manny with a clean up shot after the stroke penalty for the 2 meter, but he should be under the basket for a tap-in bogey.
At least the disc was easy to retrieve. And here we see what Andrew is left with. Not only did he roll way down a hill, but he's in some thick brush. Tough to get a stance. Tough to find a line.
Yeah, not too many options here. He's going to have to go with some kind of overhand, kind of try and slide it up the hill upside down. Looks like he switched to his fairway driver here.
A fairway driver tomahawk from probably less than 100 feet. And he almost got to the top of the hill, but not quite.
Yeah, made some progress, but maybe not enough. Here's Connor's birdie look.
Not too much in the way, it looks like. Oh, just an inch low. Was hoping to see a birdie on this. Well, here's another chance.
Come on, Jacob.
I had to go with a little bit of an Annie putt because of that leaning tree there. Oh, that's too bad. And Andrew still has some work left to save his par, peeking up over the edge of the cliff there. Oh, must have still been outside the circle. Actually, I do recall him asking the group to confirm if he was outside the circle before doing a falling putt there, and they all said he was.
Yeah, that's tough after what looked like a great drive to walk up the fairway and find out it rolled away and then scramble to even get your par and end up with the bogey.
Yeah, and actually he's the one who got the roll away on hole 2 as well, so that's happened to him twice now in 4 holes.
Hard to feel like the course isn't against you when that happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can shake it off. So we got a par from Jacob, and here's Connor for par. And then Manny should tap out his bogey.
And Andrew already did the same. So a couple bogeys, couple pars, and we already have the second hole of the day that only had 1 birdie, this time by Jeff Faze.
Phaser beam. On to hole 5. This is the long position that they also usually play in the Santa Cruz Masters Cup. 314 feet. The drone here is flying the preferred route for these guys, which is up over the oak trees. You want to hyzer into this dirt bowl right in front of the basket, and that's how you know you've made a good shot, and should give you a pretty easy putt from there.
This is one of those holes that if you have a big enough arm, it's simple. If you don't, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, they're probably showing off 400 feet of power to get up and over these guys.
Yep.
That looks a little wide, but swinging back.
Good shot.
Circle 2 look.
Good looking line from Connor as well. A little bit low though. Yep, needed a little more height. He might have a little window through there though.
Yeah, that's kind of like the alleyway for most of us shorter arms. You know, aim for that alleyway and hopefully get a skip up through there and have a look for birdie. So should be a decent putt from there. Manny's got all the power to go up and over nice and high.
Yeah, see, that's the difference right there. Like, some people might have the power to go up and over if they throw a flat shot that stalls out and then fades at the end. But when you have the power to go spike hyzer, it makes the shot a lot more repeatable and predictable.
And Miranda's got that same power. He's going with his nuke. Nice and high, a little flip up. Looking good.
Oh, great shot. Nice little rollback as well. It's about time the course gave him some good luck after his 2 rollaways. Not that he needed it. That was going to be a pretty easy birdie putt either way, but now it's slightly closer.
Yeah, he should bounce back nicely from that bogey with that birdie opportunity.
Oh, that was so close. It looked so good the whole time in the air. Good try, Connor.
Line. Here's Jacob for his birdie.
Oh, didn't let himself get razzed by whoever was yelling there in the background. Good putt. And a good birdie. His second birdie of the round already. Easy tap-in birdie for Andrew. Jacob still with that 2-stroke lead, though. Manny tapping in a birdie here.
Almost a star frame if that putt for Connor had just been an inch or two higher.
Yeah, that would have been impressive. This is not an easy hole. Average 3.06, 22% of the field taking birdies.
All right, on to hole 6. Similar position as you're used to seeing as well. 423 feet. Plays shorter than that because of the slight downhill on this hole. You have just past these little juvenile trees, there is a drainage ditch on the right side of your screen that is out of bounds, as well as the OB road directly 5 feet behind the basket. So it's definitely something to worry about, but if you just put it close on your drive, you should have a good opportunity for birdie.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward hole until you get to the basket, but hard pan green combined with OB 5 feet long, that makes it tough. Want to come up a little short and just slide up to it. Jacob going too far left here. Does stop before the road, though. Might have some kind of a hyzer putt around that tree or possibly just a layup for par.
Manny's going MVP putter.
Flipped up nicely, but not quite enough flip, I think. Oh, what am I saying? That was great. Now stop before the road. Wow. Great drive, Manny.
Yeah, I love that flight of a putter on such a long hole. And it looks like Andrew Miranda is also reaching for his preferred driving putter. Beautiful line as well.
Oh, that is absolutely perfect. Great drive, Andrew. Manny kind of hyzer flipped a more understable putter, and Andrew forced over a more neutral or overstable putter even. And both lines worked out great. It was fun to see the contrast.
Yeah, Connor going with a different line as well. This is tracking towards the OB area, but it stopped short of it.
Long, dangerous birdie look from there. Yeah, those low-hanging branches, they don't really give Jacob anything from over here. He's forced to just lay up. That's where in a casual round you throw a second one as a skip shot. Try to skip it in. Oh, wow, what a putt. Well done, Connor. Right at the OB. He's not scared. And every player now has some green on the scorecard.
Yeah, that's bold, but I guess in the MPO division, you got to run those birdie putts when you get the opportunity.
Oh, we're getting 3 birdies and 1 par here. And Jacob would have had a putt, too, if it wasn't for that low ceiling. Well played by our lead card. Although this is the first hole we've seen today that does average, or did average, under par at 2.75.
Well, that's my fault, ruining the frame.
Hole 7, 390 feet, par 3. Straight up the gut is the preferred play. A sidearm that you can get to stand up and just glide down the hill. Plays a little shorter because of the downhill on this one. There's kind of an acacia tree jail on the left side. If you get too far in there, that can make it pretty difficult to get up to the basket. So you want to stay out of that and give yourself that birdie opportunity. But this is a very tough hole. If you're getting the par, then you're feeling fine about it.
Yep, 3.41 average. Very low birdie percentage. Gotta say, I love seeing the Top World Disc Golf shirt on Manny, matching the graphics, especially the ones in the upper right corner of your screen. Perfect.
Yeah, we got practically a Top World Disc Golf Tour team card right here, as Manny Torres, Jacob Blair, and Connor Whiting are part of that team.
That's cool to see. Top World Tournament, Top World lead card, Top World coverage. Kind of a yank job from Andrew there. It's going to be kind of a tough par save.
Looks like Connor's reaching for his favorite mid-range. Just going for that up-the-gut shot. He's thrown this hole a million times, but that's just a little high.
Oh, man, that was looking so good. Just a few feet lower, and I think it would have been great.
Miss it. Oh, dang it. That was almost so good. What was that?
Yep, he said it. It was almost so good. He just needed it to flip a little bit more, and it was going to be great. You could tell he was going for that hyzer flip play. Andrew, good-looking flex forehand upshot. Too much Annie, I think. It went into the rough on his left, our right, from that catch cam perspective. Jacob looking to chip a little forehand hyzer up there, playing for the intentional skip. He kind of sallied that one. It's going to be a scary par putt.
Yeah, it's a tough upshot with the hard pan. You do want to land it short of the basket, kind of skid up there, because it's easy to land near the basket and then it skid way too long.
And Manny trying to lay up too, but it skips into the rough on the left. That's well inside the circle, but it's going to be a tricky putt, as is tradition for DeLaveaga.
And Connor just laying up his second shot. Should have that for a tap-in par.
Which, you know, is strokes on the field on this hole, or almost half a stroke on the field, I should say. Andrew's frustrated with the lie. He wanted to manufacture a way to give it a run, but yeah, couldn't really do it. So that's going to be a bogey.
Yeah, very tough putt from the invasive acacia trees. Here's Jacob to save par.
Just left. Oh, no, and it rolls into the rough. That's going to be a tricky comebacker.
Oh, yeah, very difficult.
Yes, Jacob. What a putt. Do you see how he had to swing his arm on the other side of that branch from where his body was?
Yeah, it was like a cornhole kind of throw or horseshoes, and then to go through that little window in the acacia branches.
This is why I love DeLaveaga. Like, we've already seen a couple shots and now we're seeing another, forcing players to take unconventional stances that are uncomfortable, swing their arm in ways that they're not used to. And this is the beauty of disc golf, is that you can just play it in any type of terrain. I would love to see more stuff like this on tour. I know DeLa used to be on tour, but great
yeah,
putt from
awkward
Manny.
putt, but well done.
Yep. This is part of the game, you know. I love seeing the awkward stances. Not every stance needs to be perfect, and challenge only introduced by OB rope. This is good stuff. Like they were checking out what Jacob's putt looked like there.
Yeah, that was crazy. On to hole 8, 348-foot par 3. It's the only position on this hole, so it hasn't changed. You got the OB on the left side, which is kind of protected by these dead trees. The logs on the left side will keep you in bounds. And then you got the acacia forest on the right side, so want to keep it out of there. Just keep your disc straight. Should be a pretty easy birdie for these guys.
I got a little distracted talking about how much I love DeLaveaga, but I wanted to shout out the 3 birdies of the day on hole 7. Bo West, Aviel Gomez, and Steve Moravec. Nice job, guys. Only 3 birdies on the day.
Manny throwing that putter again.
Great shot.
That's in the circle. Connor throwing his AVR 3.
Oh, not enough flip. Is that in danger? Oh, I was going to say it's in danger of getting to the road, but yeah, those big logs do a good job of stopping most shots from doing that. Kind of a similar mistake from Andrew there, but the logs stop him from going OB as well. Still, they have a birdie look even with going left like that. Not
Yeah,
bad.
it looks like it's going left, but since these guys are throwing those putters so well, they just get a little bit of last minute turn or just don't really come off of the line at all and stay pretty straight.
Forward skip. Go in. Go in.
Ooh, that looks great. Get around the tree. Oh, look at that. All right, we got 4 birdie looks.
Possibility of star frame. Connor up first.
Oh, just high. It is a downhill putt from up there.
Yeah, very similar putt for Andrew's birdie here.
Oh, just low left for Andrew. Man, he's good for it. Good birdie.
And Jacob with the last birdie look of the group. Sneaks it in.
2 birdies, 2 pars.
Oh, no.
Momentary lapse in focus there, I guess. Jeez, so Jacob's taken 2 strokes on him there. He is now closer to 3rd place than 1st place. Jacob with a 3-stroke lead.
Yeah, quite the shakeup. Strokes are flying. On to hole 8A in the right position. 215 feet. Do not go right. There's the cliffside there. Even if you're you got to land it flat up here because if it, hyzers off to the right or comes in with any angle, then it is likely to roll. So for most of these guys, it's going to be a straight putter with maybe a little bit of turn or a sidearm that you just kind of push straight before the fade. That way you don't go down the cliff. Manny's going to go first. Sidearm.
A little too flat. He wanted a little more hyzer out of the hand. Yeah, he's pin high left, still a putt, but a very scary putt right at that cliff you were talking about. Oh no, early release for Jacob.
Yikes, and that's OB. I didn't even mention that as out of bounds because it rarely comes into play on this hole, but yeah, that's a unforced error.
Yeah, you got to get like the worst imaginable kick to find that OB, and he got it, unfortunately.
Ace run.
Oh,
I think that was the other bat.
Yeah.
The timing was crazy.
I think it was a
yeah, someone made a putt on a different hole, like right when that disc would have hit the chains, and it kind of, yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. It felt right. It felt right. Up the pin.
That'd be sick though. We're gonna walk up there.
What a coincidence. There's some trickery. And Andrew looks like he's lining up a standstill, which you don't need a ton of power on this hole, but I feel like you don't see this very often. And he kind of barely missed that tree that Jacob ended up hitting that kicked him out of bounds. But he'll have a birdie look. He's the closest to the pin right now. And this is a very difficult spot for Jacob after taking the relief from out of bounds. I almost wonder if he should have re-teed.
Yeah, that's true. Now that you mention it, Keenan, I agree with you. He should have re-teed. Like this shot right here that he was looking at was clearly harder than the tee shot. He almost had no line. I wonder if he didn't consider it. A lot of players don't think about the option of doing that anytime they want.
Yeah, so now he's going to have that putt for his double bogey 5.
Ouch. That happened quick.
Here's Connor throwing 2 after his drive rolled down the hill. He'll have a long look for par.
Yeah, he just got to the crest of the hill there. We saw a little puff of dust. Great birdie. He's heating up. 4 out of the last 5. 3 down on the round, 9 down for the event. Can Andrew stay ahead of him? He can.
Yeah, that was a quality putt after the miss releases on the last hole.
That's all kinds of stuff happening on this hole. It was looking like a 2-horse race earlier. Now it's definitely a 3-horse race. Good par save.
Yeah, Connor's staying in it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's only 3 strokes back of third place, and now after Jacob's going to tap in this double bogey here. Yeah, 4 strokes off of the lead. So, I mean, yeah, all 4 players are in it, especially at a course like this.
Absolutely. Hole 9, 323 feet. It's in this straight position. You see it there. The preferred play for most of these players is a backhand straight shot or a little, baby flex. Start it left, get it to go right, and then come back left. Pretty easy hole for these guys. I think they got what it takes. You just don't want to hit any of those trees on the right side. There's also a Mando about a third of the way up the fairway, but these guys aren't too worried about that. That looks good as long as it flexes back, and it doesn't really. It's going to the other pin position.
Yep, just a little too much turn or a little too flippy of a disc. Yeah, there is that other pin right down there. He's probably pretty near it.
It's kind of a wall of acacias that's going to be between him and the basket for his next shot. This looks better out of Andrew. Just a little short.
Open look, though. Maybe a slightly low ceiling there. Tough to tell. Connor ending up in a very similar spot to Andrew. Well, actually a little shorter. Maybe no look from there. I like this line.
Oh, yeah. Looks like the best one out of the group so far.
Yep. Circle's edge or just outside, maybe. Pin high left. And yeah, man, he does not have much from over here. Okay. Good pitch up. He clipped something on the way through there. Good thing he made it as far as he did. Should be a tap-in par. Okay, Connor has a look. Just wide.
Gave it a chance. And here's Jacob for his birdie too. There you go.
Yeah, give it to him. Good bounce back. Getting the birdie after the double. Can Andrew keep pace? He can. Still tied at the top. Oh, no. A little low for the par putt for Connor there, so that is going to be a bogey. Manny with the upside down tap in, staying 2 strokes behind the leaders. Or dropping to 2 strokes behind the leaders, I should say.
Hole 10, passing the Mando on the left side here. It's a pretty straight shot. You do have the OB road on the right side, which is a factor if you go too far right, because there is a sidearm line here. Or there's a backhand line straight up the gut, something that flips up straight, maybe turns a little bit, and just stay on that straight line. See what option these guys opt for. Miranda's going to go mid-range up the middle.
Flipping up nicely. Beautiful flight. And is that pin high left?
Yeah, just a little bit long. Should have a kind of an obstructed view from there. And Jacob Blair going for the high sidearm route here. Didn't quite commit to that one all the way. Heiser's out a little early, but it stays in bounds.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't get it left enough. Manny looks like he's looking down the middle, or is he looking at the same high? No, he's looking down the middle. Yeah, you can see it.
I think that's his Athena fairway driver. Just didn't have the stability to flex back, but that is the line. Very flippy disc from Connor. This looks great. It's a little long and left, kind of near where Miranda's drive landed.
Looks like Connor might be dealing with a little more jail, though. Tougher to manufacture a birdie putt from in there.
There's Jacob's long look over the dead tree stump.
Yeah. Easy par. All right, what was Connor left with here? Let's see. Yeah, maybe he was given that a bit. It was tough to tell.
Manny with the wide open look for his birdie.
Perfect.
He knew it. Right out of his hand.
Manny's shooting the best round of our group so far. He's 4 under through 10 holes, or through 11 holes, actually, because we've had 8A. Oh, no, Andrew hits the low ceiling little branch there in front of him. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so Manny takes a stroke and takes the box. On to hole 11 in the long left position. This has got to be a tough birdie because you really got to get some distance and miss a lot of trees to get there. The drone here is flying the sidearm route, which is forced over anhyzer that you get to flex back here, just like the drone is flying. There's also a backhand line that would be more straight up the middle fairway, and then have it skip through these trees and give yourself a birdie look.
Looks like a tough birdie.
Manny going for that drone flex sidearm line. That looks like a little too much anhyzer. He's going to be about 100 feet short.
It's just a very tough pin to access, no matter which route you take.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying shot when you throw it correctly. That looks pretty good. Just needs to flex back as well. Didn't quite have the stability, or a little too much angle as well.
Yeah, it's almost like you need that extreme anhyzer, but then you need a disc like a tilt or something to really fight back an extreme angle. There's not really room to make a more gentle flex work out. You need that extreme angle.
Yeah, it looked like Jacob kind of overcorrected there and threw his much higher than the rest with a little bit less anhyzer, so it didn't work. But Connor's going to demonstrate the traditional backhand route up the middle. A little kiss from the trees.
Long look. Let's see what Jacob's looking at here. Skip shot. Yep. Oh,
Well
done.
executed.
12 feet left for the par. Manny probably just laying up here. Or maybe giving it a little run. Either way, he's right there for a par. There he is.
Yeah, looks like Miranda's going for this one as well.
Just a little right.
All right, maybe a birdie from Connor then. Pretty unobstructed from there.
Oh.
No.
Well, no birdies on our lead card. Good par putt, though, from Connor. Minimizes the damage.
How many birdies in the field?
Yeah, this is an interesting one, Keenan. This one, it averaged 3.16, only slightly above par, so you would expect a lot of birdies, but no, there were only 3. Shout out to Taj Davis, Ezra Hapner, and Steve Moravec. Again, second shout out for Steve, I believe. Just a lot of pars on this one. Not a lot of bad scores, but the birdies are rare. They're elusive. You got to have a very specific tee shot.
On to hole 12, also a treacherous hole referred to as the kitchen or the refrigerator hole because there's an old fridge down in this ravine here. You want to throw it over the ravine and crash into the basket. So the preferred line is just a straight backhand. If it hyzers out early to the left, that's a lot safer than having it turn too much and drop down into the abyss.
I also feel like this is one of the holes at DeLaveaga where you're most likely to see a 2-meter penalty because the only shot is up and over the trees.
Yeah, 2-metered or a lost disc is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, down at the bottom
pretty
of the ravine.
good. Pulls it a little right, so it's going to need to cut through the trees. Oh, and it does. He's gone long of the basket.
That's layup land over there, if I had to guess. It's probably not going to run the 80-footer right at the cliff. Andrew keeping it nice and high. Looks like a putter, maybe? That's fading. It could be an overstable putter. I'm not sure. Maybe a mid.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be circle 2, edge of circle 2, maybe circle 3 territory.
But at an angle where running it is less risky. So he might give that a little half go. Jacob going flex line.
Yeah, I think that's his signature quake, overstable mid-range. A little better than Andrew, but still outside the circle.
That's kind of the play on this hole is aim a little long, because if you aim to park it, you're crashing the trees and bringing 2 meters into play.
Oh, that looks great. Little roll to the fallen logs. He's in the circle.
Great shot. But yeah, see, he kind of had to gamble with the trees a little bit to be in the circle. That's kind of how this hole goes.
Yeah, this is a scary putt, like you were saying. Man, he's just going to lay it up.
Yeah. Less than 80 feet, though. I was wrong about that. But still a layup.
This looks good.
Oh, good bid.
Thought that was in.
Yep. Jacob laying up as well. It's a deathy green. Yeah, like I said, Andrew was the only one kind of at an angle to go for it out of the 3 players that were farther away. But here's Connor.
No.
Oh, stop.
Get the bag out of the way.
Don't. Well, I was worried it was going to hit the bag for a second there. That's brutal. You could tell he really had to fight to keep his balance there. Tough to putt from that stance with the log right behind you and not fall forward since he was in the circle. And he did maintain balance, but unfortunately missed low and then got the roll away. And now he's got a tricky putt for the par.
Yeah, it's hard when it's a low ceiling putt, but the basket's almost elevated. Good par
Great
save.
putt. Pretty much the same putt. That's one of those where you guarantee he's saying to himself, why couldn't you just do that exact thing the first time? But saves the par. Minimizes the damage once again, which is the name of the game at DeLaveaga.
Yep, looking like a par frame.
Yeah, well, 81% of the field parred this hole, so that's understandable. 13% birdie.
On to the final hole of our part 1 of the Faultline coverage. Hole 13, 550 feet, also known as I-5 because it's so long, or when somebody asks you what score you got, you might just say I-5'd. It's a tough hole. For these guys, it's going to be a big backhand that lands just right here where the drone is flying, the mouth of the fairway here, and then just skip in for hopefully an easy par. Maybe a look for a birdie too, but very challenging. Possibly the hardest par 3 west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic tweener hole. It averages exactly 3.5, so right between a par 3 and a par 4. But almost
Look at that
unreachable.
skip.
That is a
And
crazy
another
skip.
skip.
Whoa. Insane shot from Manny there. I've never seen back-to-back giant skips like that unless you're playing on pavement or something.
Yeah, for a shot that was thrown, only 100 feet off the tee, but still got almost 500 feet down the fairway. And this is more of the traditional line from Andrew. You may have seen him birdie this hole before on the Masters Cup Jomez coverage.
Yeah, birdies are so rare on this hole.
It's like Manny and Andrew have a look from where they've landed their drives.
Yeah.
Let's see if Jacob can throw a similar shot. Looking good a little early, but it makes the corner.
Okay.
And this has to catch an angle. Oh,
Not that angle.
no. Hit like a rock or a stick
Go
in the
for hole.
fairway.
Go for mound. Yeah, that was unfortunate. He didn't deserve that reaction off the ground.
But he's in a spot he can go up and over.
Yep.
Looking good.
Oh, yeah. He's got a putt for the par.
So here's where Manny's drive ended up. Not really a birdie look, but a tap-in par.
Easy par on this is half a stroke on the field, so I guarantee you any player out here is happy with a 3 on I-5.
Great drive from Blair as well.
Oh, not a great second, though. That's unfortunate. Grip locked
Yeah.
that little chip shot forehand a little bit.
Miranda for birdie too. Skip in there.
He's just laying it up.
Wanted to see something special, but 2 pars is great at Or we still have 2 more opportunities so everybody could par. No. Jacob's going to have a tap in 4. And here's Connor for his 3rd shot.
Ooh, left side sneaks it in there. Good par save.
So 3 out of 4 of our lead card is going to par. The longest
not
hole on
bad.
the course.
Yep. I mean, honestly, those who know me know I'm notorious for saying that soft par 4s should be par 3s. But in this case, I wouldn't be upset if they called this a soft par 4. I mean, it basically plays as one. There were 0 birdies on the day, which is not too surprising for me. It takes an absolutely miraculous tee shot or a little throw in from 100 feet or something to get a 2 on this one, typically. So,
Yeah, sometimes we hear about a birdie per year.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for the part 1 coverage of the final round of the 2024 Faultline Classic. Here's the card roundup for the last 14 holes. Manny's putting together the hottest round at -4, and it's turning out to be a tight race with both Manny and Jacob at -10 and Miranda at -11.
This is exciting stuff, and we've got 14 holes to go. Come back and join us in the second half.
Thanks, guys. See you there.